After more than 20 years of research and the past 2 years of collaboration with the Sugar Industry Research Institute, the four cane farmer associations, and with funding from the Green Climate Fund and the 5Cs, the Belize Sugar Industries Limited, American Sugar Refining, launched 11 new sugar cane varieties today. 3 of these varieties have proven successful through the research carried out in the farmers' fields.
This is research for over 4 decades. And the oldest variety we are launching today actually was first planted in 2000. So that's 22 years of research that we have invested as a company in these varieties. We're very, very proud to launch these varieties today. We are also launching a guide to know how to use them basically. What are their characteristics, where to plant them, what soils they need, what water amounts they need, and most especially what productivity they give and what cane quality they give. So we're very proud.
The new stacks, unlike the B79 that covers 55% of the industry, can adapt to today's conditions, including climate change, and are even resistant to pests such as the froghopper. The varieties, according to Research and Development Chief of BSI ASR Adrian Zetina, were developed in Belize with the idea of diversification.
We have different varieties from different countries. There are CP varieties, and those come from the US. There's Mex varieties, those come from Mexico, but we can proudly say that we have 11 Belizean varieties, BBZ varieties, and these varieties were evaluated under Belizean conditions. So we feel assured that these varieties will become successful in the industry. We've tested them in Belizean soils, we've tested them in Belizean rainfall, we've tested them under our temperature, and they've all worked well. There is no one variety that is a clear-cut winner. Each of them in each of their different soil types or in the different environmental conditions that we have excel in an area. Some of them have drought tolerance, some of them have more pest tolerance, some adapt well to a wide array of soils. And so it depends really on the farmer, and in the manual that we have, it tells us where they adapt. So a farmer will then need to go through the information and make the decision that best suits his or her farm.
With the varieties tested on the fields, the next step is distribution to other farmers.
In efforts to take these varieties from research to the farmers, the funding from GCF stepped in to really start to put these to the test in farmer fields. So we have 13 participating farmers that took the risk and planted these varieties and then gave their testimonials.
Now we know that you are waiting $20 million approval in order for these varieties to be introduced to other cane farmers. But in the meanwhile, what is step 2? How do you entice them to actually venture into the project?
Excellent. So the project this is the step 1, going from research to cane farmer fields, testing it, and if they work, which ones they like. Then we're already in the process of then increasing the seed amount for those to be distributed. The big ticket item here is really to change the compendium, as Adrian calls it, of the industry. Currently B79, as he will tell you, is over 50% of the industry, and we need to have a variety, a diversity of varieties so that we're not at risk based on the climate impacts that we are getting at the moment. And these can be floods, droughts, pests, all these climate impacts that we are experiencing. So yes, we are currently in the process of submitting, along with 5Cs and the Ministry of Economic Development, a GCF funding for over $20 million so that we can then replant close to 15,000 acres in the sugarcane area. It's not all. We are coming from about 70,000 acres in the sugar industry. So it's really about 15% of the industry that we want to change the diversity. So that's where the big project submission is.
To ensure the endurance of the industry with the introduction of the new stacks, the company has even carried out a de-risking process.
We've done a lot of the de-risking process, and we're never going to eliminate the entire risk. I always liken it to us trying a new product in the supermarket. You buy a new cereal, you like it, you begin to buy that cereal and you change over. You buy one, you don't like it, okay, well, let me go back and buy another one. So it's not to change, and the recommendation to farmers, never turn your farm over completely and plant this variety. You need to trial it under your conditions because you have a different farm management, you have a different farming model, and you need to confirm that this works there. However, we feel very assured that it will work on their farms.
Is that where the book actually comes in? Because I heard in one of the testimonials that the farmer said, you know, my soil has more clay, so I saw that this particular cane did not benefit me to grow. So that's where the book actually comes in, a guide for them to say, okay, this is my type of soil, so let me go with B, whatever, instead of B, what I'm planting right now.
Exactly. That's where we've taken all that information and tried to put it in a farmer-friendly format where they can page through and see which varieties work for them, which one works in my soil type, which one works in my area of rainfall. They can then find 2 or 3 for them to try, and then they can then trial it in their farms and see which one works best.
But in this case, the benefits overrule the risks, says BSI ESR's Cane Farmers Relations Manager Olivia Aviles.
For the factory, sustainability is key. So we want to secure the sustainability of the cane industry. Imagine if, in 2019, the drought affected the sugar cane and we lost 40% of the production that year. 40% from one year to the next. And that, the mill lost the amount of cane. We were at about 800,000 tons. And, for us as the miller, we have an overhead cost, and it is basically cost relatively the same to produce 1.3 million tons versus 800 tons. So for us, it's key that we maintain the sustainability of the industry and for farmers as well, because losing for 40% of cane from one year to the next is a lot, of course. So that's key. Number 2, cane quality and cane production. Cane quality is key. We are looking at early, middle, and late varieties. Currently, B79 is a middle maturing variety, and Adrian will tell you all about that. But it's a middle age maturing variety, and it doesn't cover for the early part of the safra, of the crop. And we want to introduce more varieties within that so that we're able to maintain a high quality throughout.